I'm happy to be speaking with Brenda Jones.
Yes.
My name is Jennifer Nicholas. I'm going to ask you a few questions about your background and your contributions to the field of OD.
Yes.
Where would you like to start in that regard?
Well, I will start with some of the roles that
Okay.
I've had since I've been in the field of OD. I have been making contributions in the regionals. I came to OD in the Chesapeake Bay OD Network,
Okay.
and I became president of the Chesapeake Bay OD Network. And then within several years after that, I came to the National OD Group. And in 2000, no, I think it was a little bit before that, it was probably 1996, 97. Through 2000, I was chair of the board of the OD Network.
Okay.
And being able to continue the work of the OD Network has been a big part of my work. And I've also just recently left the position of president of NTL, which has made many contributions to the field. And so having been a part of both of these organizations have been important to me in being in the field. I've taught for 16 years at the American University NTL graduate program in OD. So I feel like I've shepherded a number of people who are now coming into the field, and it's wonderful to be able to see that they're making contributions.
Great. And how would you describe some of the challenges that the OD is facing at the national level?
Well, I've noticed that the numbers in attendance at our programs are not what they once were. When I was on the board, we would have 800 to 1,000 attending our conferences. The conferences have been, for me, a network that we've needed within the field of OD. And this year it's somewhere around 300 or 400. And in many ways that is representing a little bit of what's going on in the field. The field is becoming more specialized. People are becoming interested in other areas that are connected with OD, but not necessarily the consulting work that we do in OD. And I think it is worth us being able to understand that. I still believe the network can be a strong network, and I believe that the field of OD, as it is going through its changes, will begin to rebuild the network as well.
Okay. So it sounds like the field of OD is becoming more fragmented. How would you try to inspire young people who may be interested in joining the field?
I think this is a field that you cannot be a consumer in, which means for me that coming into the field and learning skills and techniques and being able to do consulting work in organizations is not enough in the field. That you must be invested in helping to build the field. I mean, I think organization development means that as the world changes, more development is needed, and that's also true in the field of OD. And if we, the practitioners, we, the academics, are not constantly contributing to what the new theory is as well as new models, then we're hard pressed to really develop the field in the way that it needs to be. So for everyone coming into the field, I would like for them to really think about what their contribution can be, not what they take from it, but really what do they give to it. And in these conversations that we're having together, I believe that more creative theory and more creative models can emerge out of that.
Okay. And the conference is a wonderful way for people to connect. What other ways can people connect to each other to share common best practices in OD today?
I was at dinner last night with Barbara Bunker, who talked about being a part of a group that has met consistently over the last 30 years. Sometimes the work can be very lonely when you're out there doing it by yourself. So I think that reaching out and being intentional about relationships that you have with other consultants, I think makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
I think constantly working with others who are coming into the field, for me, for those of us who've been in the field for a while, to do more mentoring. I think obviously the social media will play a big role in how connections are really being made.
Okay.
But one of the things that I've done is to edit a book on OD,
Okay.
the NTL Handbook for Organization Development and Change. The second edition came out in March. There are at least 34 chapters in that book. And I find that having written is a way that I'm reaching people.
Right.
And as I was talking to Warner Burke earlier today, his comment to me, I said to him that I had read his article on loosely coupled systems. And he said, and the next time that you read it, just send me a note and tell me what you liked about it. And I think that's being intentional around being in contact with each other, not just about what we're doing, but what others are doing, and having more conversations about it.
Okay. Can you describe some of the best ideas from that book?
I think that the book is a way of really talking about some of the new thinking. So we have Bob Marshak and Jervis Bush, who have written on diagnostic OD, dialogic OD, and they compare it to diagnostic OD. And dialogic OD is one that's an area that is now taking what is currently going on, but making some adjustments to how we see it and do the work that we're doing. So that to me was important. There's a book on a chapter in the book on emotional intelligence, and it is talking about we need to be able to address emotions a lot better than what we do, and what does that mean for us to be responsible for integrating the whole person when we're in the system.
Right.
And I want to just briefly speak to the chapter that I wrote, which is around looking at change and how we approach change.
Okay.
And I talk about the concepts of the 3 C's, meaning generally when we're going within an organization, we may be working at trying to build capability. And we tend to include everything in what does capability look like. I think that we need to do more separating of what we're defining as capability, and I've talked about whether you want to build capacity, whether you want to build competency, whether you want to build capability, and you're always doing one when you're doing the other, but we also need to be more intentional about how well are we doing all 3.
Yes.
So.
How could we possibly use social media to discuss some of these great ideas?
Well, I think that most of it has been happening either before the conference, during the conference, and maybe after the conference, because that obviously generates a lot of interest and activity. I have also seen some of the connecting with each other coming around the webinars that OD Network has been doing. I've seen it just happen because we're blogging more or we're talking about more topics more. So the question is, are there more things that are of interest to us? Even, again, coming out of the session this morning around learning agility. Can we, again, be talking more about that within the social media? I like the fact that at the conference they have downloaded an app and that you can friend people at the
Right.
conference, which a lot of times when you're just collecting cards, you still get back and not be
Sure.
clear about what card this person gave me or that. So the app, I think, is a very helpful way of being able to engage each other, but also make better contact with each other, and not just, yes, it was nice to meet you, and we keep moving on.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brenda, thank you so much for talking with us today. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I am liking the fact that we've hit our 50th anniversary, and I am as excited about the next 50 years as I've been, at least for me, about the last 25 years that I've been a part of.
Good.
So thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I think that's a very optimistic note to end on.
Yes.
So we appreciate that.
You're welcome.